It's a great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
A great day to talk hockey on the last night of the regular season for the Montreal Canadiens. They came up against a formidable defense full of veteran big names that they just could not penetrate. And Ersson, wow, what a goalie too. Jig there. You told me about how much Ersson sucked. Well, Cole Caulfield didn't think he sucked tonight. 10 shots, 10 saves. Too bad. Friggin' Cole couldn't get that. They got to have a, empty net goal. Maurice Richard trophy goes to Nate McKinnon, and the real Richard trophy goes to Caulfield. Can they put a rule in there where it's most goals scored on goalies, or is it? I guess it doesn't matter, right? It's empty nets. I suppose if you're on the ice with an empty net and you score a goal, means that you're pretty good defensively, right? So anyway, too bad. I would have liked them at least to have ended up sharing the trophy, considering how many clutch goals Cole scored this year, how many fewer shots it took for him. Did you see that stat they put up? It was like McKinnon is about 12% shooting percentage and Cole's at 50 or 20, I mean, this year. But hey, I wonder how many I think McKinnon may have had as many shots on goal at empty nets as Cole did on all season, whether there's a goalie or not. But anyway, hey, too bad. We're getting greedy now, right, Rick?
Yeah,
we get the 50 goal score, we get the 100-point score, we get the second-year defenseman tying Larry Robinson's record. We wanted him to beat it. We wanted Cole to, win the Rocket Richard. Yeah. Once you get in, somebody gives you an inch, you want a mile, right?
It's more disappointing to know that Cole is only in the same stratosphere as Nate McKinnon. It's like, son of a gun. That's all he is. Someone comparable to Nate McKinnon. So
that's good perspective. That's good perspective, Rick. I like that. I always like the people that look for the silver lining, and that, Rick, that describes you pretty well, my friend.
Thank you.
Well, it's so the Montreal Canadiens will be starting on the road in Tampa. Now we know what's going on with that. Do we know if Philly catch Pittsburgh, or I guess I should look at the standings here and see what the up-to-date standings are. Just bear with me, folks, and I'll try to bring that up. But looks like next Thursday and Saturday, if I were to guess, will be the two home games for the Habs. Should be City of Montreal is going to be rocking over the next couple of weeks, isn't it, Rick?
As long as it's a Saturday night game and we got Mr. Saturday Night in action, I'm happy with it. Give them as much Saturday night games as we can. I don't care what it takes. As we said, it's going to be just insane. I'm happy that they have a few days off to kind of relax a little bit, get ready. They'll be good to go. I know some people on social media seemed a little bit worried about the Habs, saying, this is not a good game. Tampa Bay is going to eat them alive if they play like that. But listen, they won't play like that against Tampa Bay, guys. Everybody settle down. This is the Habs we want to win the game, but that's priority number 2. Let's not get injured. And that's the way they played. They just were being super careful out there, kind of gingerly, trying to get a goal here and there. But there was nobody doing anything stupid to try to win this game. That was not their concern. Jeff Molson must be furious because the Habs did not play like a team that was hoping to win home ice advantage.
No.
I think they were like, you know what, we'll start on the road. I'm okay with that.
No, they're not nearly as concerned about gate revenues as Jeffrey, I guess, right?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, I have to bring up the so Philly tied Pittsburgh in Points? Okay, who's got the... Okay, so Pittsburgh. All right, they'd already had... Okay, so Pittsburgh has home ice. What else are we trying to figure out here? Oh, I guess it's set in the East, isn't it? Because Boston won, so... Okay. Ottawa's going to face Buffalo, Tampa, Montreal. Or Ottawa's going to face Carolina, Buffalo, Boston, Pittsburgh, Philly, as we knew, and Tampa, Montreal, as we knew. So, what do you think of those matchups? Let's start off first here, Rick.
Yeah.
Ottawa against Carolina.
Wow. Carolina's intriguing. They're a stats team, and I don't know if I've ever seen a team go far in the playoffs with as many smaller defensemen, I think, than Carolina has, although they have gone bigger. But Sean Walker's not the biggest guy, and Gottlieb Bear is not the biggest guy, but Keandre Miller has good size, and Jaden Chatfield has pretty good size. So it's going to be interesting to see. Really, I think that Ottawa has the potential to shock the NHL and go really far in the playoffs, as long as they get good goaltending. Because on paper, I like this team. They got a pretty good top 4D. I really like their center line. They got size on the wing with some scoring ability, but it all comes down to Linus Ullmark. That is the one playoff that could shock a lot of people. I would not be surprised to see Ottawa really shine if Linus Ullmark is even playing at 80% or 85% of his abilities. If he's playing like he did at the start of the year where everything was going in, then obviously they're finished. But I think he's played a little better, and I think he's feeling it now. And I really think this team, after all they've been through this year, all the adversity, all the off-ice stuff, I think Ottawa could surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And Boston, Buffalo, I mean, you never know. You never know with that kind of series. It's kind of an interesting matchup. And I mean, Buffalo, you would think, right? But I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if it ended up being Boston that came ahead. And we kind of discussed this a little bit last podcast, Rick, because in part just because, just about all of the Buffalo players haven't been there before, right? And the Boston crew, there's quite a few of them that do have a fair bit of experience, playoff experience.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. I think what Boston will try to do is make this an emotional game. I could see that Zadorov being a big part of it. He's going to try to get under the opponent's skin. He's going to try to be a bug like he always is. He's going to try to get in. He's going to try to get into their heads. But I could see him going after Tage Thompson a lot just because of the size similarity. Like it's justifiable, and he's going to try to just rattle Buffalo. And because of their experience, I could see Boston being able to play that game and still keep their wits about them. And maybe Buffalo struggling with that. So Buffalo could fall into a trap of making this an emotional game, lose their focus, and that's the big danger for me with Buffalo. If they start falling into the trap of making this an emotional playoff series and get bothered by Boston, they'll have a really, really tough time.
Okay, folks, give us your predictions on the series. There, I'm going to morph back into the game tonight. I guess we should talk a little more about it, although I just kind of want to sweep it under the rug.
Sure.
It's one of those nights. But, don't tell me on social media, Rick, it was like that, Rick?
Yes, it was.
Panic.
Panic time.
To the end of the regular season.
Cheers.
106 points, the most points the Habs have had. The second most points the Habs have had since 1989. And they went to the Stanley Cup final that year.
Fantastic. And I believe the youngest team ever to make the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken.
I would imagine the youngest team to ever get 106 points. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Okay. And hey, why, how come we have to react to people, and I don't mean everybody, just the ones the negative Nellies that seem to populate social media. Why is every game got to be so important? Like, if the Habs play a bad game, oh, they're gonna lose they're gonna get swept in the playoffs because tonight they weren't very good, and then the next night if they have a great game, oh, Stanley Cup, here we come. It's just it's so amusing. It's a marathon, not a race, blah, 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 all that good stuff. But, you know, I mean, if you ask me who I think will win that series, I would pick Tampa. I think Tampa has to be favored in this series. I hate to have to say that, but without Noah Dobson, and you just know that magically all of a sudden Victor Hedman's going to be back in Tampa like tomorrow probably, and everything will be hunky dory, and he'll play in game one, and it'll be their Nikita Kucherov story of this year or whatever. And although I mean, I figure if he's not even back, there's no reports of him even being back yet, right? So if he hasn't practiced or skated, you wonder, like, he had been battling a couple of injuries, but then they said he's taken a personal leave.
Yeah.
And no word on what that was about. He isn't back yet. It's the regular season's over. I don't know. Like, I wonder if he's been practicing, or have you heard anything about Victor Hedman, Rick?
I've read from a blogger, and take it for what it's worth, that he won't be back to start the playoffs for Tampa. And if he's not, then we gotta think that it's serious and important, and we hope that it's nothing too serious, because when somebody takes some personal time off and includes the playoffs, well, it's not good. I'm hoping that like I said, I mean, I'm putting myself aside as a Habs fan right now, just as a human being. I hope he's going to be back, because it tells me that at least he's okay. But if he doesn't start the playoffs, boy,
Yeah,
you hate to see that. I want the Habs to win, but I want the Habs to win versus a complete, healthy Tampa Bay Lightning lineup. So to show that they could do it, that's the way I see it. But some blogger said he won't be back for the start of the playoffs, from what they've been saying.
Well, Rick, you're a nicer guy than me, and I mean, the Habs are missing Dobson, so I hope it's serious enough. 7 games serious enough. Put it that way.
Okay.
And that he's back. The night of the 7th game, he comes back and he's fine. But he's ready to go in game 8, and there is no game 8 for Tampa. That's what I'm hoping for. But I hear what you're saying. Or he can play in game 7 and just not be that effective, but be healthy.
That's good.
Is that fair?
It's a good middle ground. I can live with that.
Okay. Well, mainly because Dobson's out, and I want that. Once again, the friggin' playing field is slanted in Tampa's favor, just like in 2021 when, we can be $10 million over the friggin' salary cap or whatever, right? Anyway, I just want fairness. That's all.
But then again, it's over, right? Like, I think you can't dress a roster that's higher than the salary cap. You could be over the cap, but the roster you dress cannot be over the cap, is my understanding. So, it's going to be interesting. But to me, the main thing is just that Tampa, I think, because of their experience and because they've been so far in the playoffs, almost all of them, they kind of understand. They're able, in a lot easier way, to go into cruise control and then turn it to a second gear when they have to. They have that knowledge. They have that understanding of what it takes. They have that age. I could see, some of their players just kind of floating a little bit for the last few games, and then getting that darn second gear that I can't stand. But then again, we don't know what's going through their heads. Maybe Montreal did get into their heads a little bit and go, geez, man, these guys are just relentless on us. They're just going, and it's not the same team for the Habs than they've been in the last few years. This is a team that has a little bit more experience. They're maturing. Even their younger guys have been in the league now for a few years. They were in the playoffs, many of them last season. So We'll see how it goes. But as I said before, I think for the Habs, the main thing is you got to get that secondary scoring going a little bit, and it's just not there right now. And they're not going to win if all they have is the first line in the power play. They got to get Dach going. They got to get Budzik going, Kapanen. Some of these guys have to step up a little bit right now, and the ball's in their court. They could do it. They got the talent, but the ball's in their court.
Yeah. Friggin' Kapanen ends with 37 points. Friggy had 35 like 10 games ago, 15 games ago.
I know.
Definitely a slow end to the year for him. You know what's and I think this is something that like what I've noticed the last 15, 20 games, Rick, he's not getting open. He's not going to scoring areas and being position-wise. For a guy that I just lauded and saw for years, and at the start of this year, always going to the right spots and always, finding the open spots for shots, he hasn't been the last 15 games. He's going where he could be checked. He's not. I don't know, but that to me, because I've seen the opposite for the majority of his career, including most of this year, it's whatever it is, there's something going on there right now where, he's not mentally, he's not in the right place right now. And I think that will come around because we've seen it. I think he's a very intelligent player. We've been saying it all year. Yet for the past 15 games or so, I mean, on top of the losing possession of the puck, he actually improved that the last 5 games, I thought. He wasn't holding on to it too long. He wasn't turning it over. He was making smart plays, but he just wasn't getting open as much. I mean, he had another great chance tonight, so he just still gets those chances, but that was a nice pad save by Erson. But he's got to start getting to the scoring areas again. He hasn't been lately, and that's one of the strengths of his game. So I think, hopefully we see playoff Cappy, because I've seen it the last 3 years. I thought he was really good in Laval. He was really good in Liga last year. The year before, SHL. The year before, he was really good in Liga. So I think he steps up his game at playoff time, and I hope he does so again this year.
Definitely. I'm wondering if it's not like he's not going in his head a little bit, saying, playoffs are coming, got to be careful. It's more defensive, and you kind of go overboard a little bit with the defensive aspect of the game and saying, I'm not going to do anything that comes across as any sort of a risk. And maybe that's going a little bit. Maybe he's got to find that middle ground a little bit where he's got to maybe push the play. I'd like to see him do something a little bit to get out of his own head a little bit. There was a little skirmish with Michkov towards, I think, in the third period. I go, man, get a penalty right now. You know what? Shove Michkov, high stick him, do something. Get a 2-minute penalty for roughing if you have to, but do something to show a little bit of because I know he's got it in him. Like you've seen it, and I know you've seen it a lot in the past. Maybe do something to get out of his own head and get a little bit more emotion in his game and a little bit less thinking, a little bit more instinct. And I think that'll be a big thing. So do something, slash somebody, push somebody, take that 2-minute penalty, but just get out of your head a little bit and try to get that emotion going through you.
So we should join it like a kickboxing class or something like that, Rick.
That's good enough for me, whatever. Professional wrestling, jiu-jitsu, taekwondo, just do something.
I knew that you'd catch that, what I meant by that. Francois Tooney, here's to a fantastic season. Cheers.
Merci beaucoup.
Yep. Here's a kind of a new name. Looks Italian. Can you pronounce that? Chichu.
Chichu 22.
Chichuchi scores. Absolutely right on Slav. Seems his hockey sense is not up to par. What? Slav's hockey sense isn't up to par. Okay. What? Because he made that error? Again, we're not only reacting just to a game; it's just the one play now. So now he can't make. Come on now, Slav once in a while makes a. It's Francois. Tends to have bad turners in the defensive zone and goes for bad decisions in the O zone. Hey, at 1 years of age, he had how many assists this year? 40 plus. I'm not worried about Slav. Once in a while, the bad decisions that he makes is just trying to do too much. I'd rather he tries to do too much than he doesn't do anything. So, no, I'm not going to say that his hockey sense is below average in any regard. Panic. Montreal lost a single game. They're not ready for the playoffs because they lost one game. I think you might be being sarcastic there, Rick. Texier didn't have a great game.
I think what is that he's still puck more than ever, and I think he's got to figure it out a little bit. Maybe that's one of the issues.
Okay. Oh, so you think he's dumb too? Okay. All right. Well, I gotta go back to the drawing board here and start watching him. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. I don't have an issue with Slav's hockey sense. There's going to be Hudson.
Oh, no.
Do you have an issue with Hudson's hockey sense? He turns over the puck more than Slav. So does he have a hockey sense issue? It's just good players that try to do
that's what I'm saying.
things.
No.
You know, I still think
exactly.
It's important.
That's what I'm trying to say is that he has the puck more often. So yeah, there's going to be a cough up here and there.
Yeah. Okay, we're a little. I don't know we're a little laggy here. Are you hardwired, Rick? Are you Ethernet?
No, I'm not. I don't see anything on my end, but
okay. I'm getting some lags here, but that's fine. I still think it's important to finish strong and not to mention Dobie his confidence going to the playoffs with 2 losses. Yeah. Well, folks, I'm not going to talk too much about tonight's game. I just, a lot of people are always, but tonight I don't. It's the end of the regular season. Let's talk about the playoffs. They're coming. We'll talk a little bit. Michkov got 3 points tonight. Our Flyer buddy, Jiggy. I'll just call him Jiggy because GJG is freaking hard to say. Greg. I know his name is Greg. Why don't I just call him Greg, okay? Jiggy Greg. Michkov, 3 points. He doesn't move very fast, but he is a savvy player. He makes smart plays and good for him. Ending the season on a lot more positive note than most of the year. He struggled offensively. I think being put with Martone has kind of given him a new lease on life here. It looks like those two have found some chemistry, and there might be a good combo there because Martone, the bigger skilled guy against with Michkov, the smaller skilled guy, and maybe there's going to be some nice chemistry there. Oliver Bonk, I texted somebody in the Philly organization and said, "Ooh, the Habs got bonked. The Habs got bonked tonight." He says, "Oh yeah, that's right. They were playing." So, yeah, golden assist in the first period. I wish they'd have kept Brink because I would have loved to have seen a line with Brink, Bonk, and Bump out there at the same time. Anyway, but we had to make do instead with Dallas Meowie. What do you think of Dallas Meowie tonight? Or no, sorry, that's Denver Barkey. Sorry. What do you think of Denver Barkey?
He's as advertised, small skill player, a little buzzsaw around here and there. He's got some moves. I don't know if he's. It's hard to tell guys like him because this is a good game for him, and even a guy like Michkov, where the Habs were not. Again, the Habs were playing careful. let's not get injured, let's not waste any energy. So they were a little bit passive, which played right into his game and right into Mitchkov's game, where they could just move around without being touched. I mean, so many guys from Philadelphia were moving around without being touched. That's why does it concern me, because I know they won't let that go. That's not what the Habs were going to play like in an important game. They were just thinking, guys, we want to win, but we don't want to get injured. Don't do anything stupid. Even when Evans got hit hard, you would think somebody would just lose their minds, but they didn't even. They just said, "Listen, he's not hurt. Let's not worry about this right now. Let's not do anything stupid." And you saw there was not a lot of scrums in the front of the net, right? When anybody got near the goal, or they kind of let it slide, because both teams were taking the same thing. It's not anything on the line. It's not the time to start going after people. So, yeah, just to get back to some of the players from Philadelphia, some of them really managed to shine in a game like this, and good for them. I mean, it might be their one chance to show Rick Tocchet what they could do, and they took advantage of it. Some of them. So maybe in the back of his mind, Rick Tocchet is thinking for later on or for next season. There's some guys that showed me something, and that's what they wanted to do, and they accomplished that.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's somebody here, Sammy. I'm hoping on next few days, Cooch. You don't have to put your glasses on. I'm gonna read it here, Rick.
All right,
I'm hoping in the next few days, Cooch gets a permanent stone in his skate. Yes, that would be good. Wouldn't it be cool if all of a sudden, like, he plays, and then all of a sudden he misses the playoffs? Oh no, I know, you're right. You don't want anybody hurt. I realize that, but just karma wise, right?
He's not likable.
He's going to slip and fall outside his house and be done for the season. Yep, that may happen. Oh, I wouldn't bet on it though. Yeah. Well, the freaking Flyers, they like that defense. Man, oh man, McDonald, Bonk, Andre, like just no-name defense that they dressed tonight. They didn't have Sanheim. They didn't have Drysdale. They didn't have York. They didn't have you name it, right? Ristolainen. Like they kept the Habs 2 goals, and the Habs didn't generate a whole ton. We got to see the Reinbacher Hudson combo in the first period, and Marty said, "Okay, I've seen enough of that. They're not ready. They're not ready to be a pairing just yet." Bacher got a quick lesson in it. Okay, Hudson's not going to be covering the guy standing at the Habs blue line. You better be aware of that and be back. Because Lane was nowhere to be found on that Michkov breakaway, and it was on Lane's side of the ice, but Dave's got to be aware that Lane's going to be up the ice there on occasion, and when he is, you got to protect your blue line, and he didn't, and Michkov got a breakaway, and Bacher had a couple of turnovers, I guess. They were on the ice for a goal against there. But nothing, again, no major gaffes, a couple of turnovers, a couple of mistakes, I guess, but hey, yeah. The third period, I really liked his third period. I thought as the game went along, we saw him get more comfortable again. When he was moved away from Lane, liked his game. He seems to play pretty well with Arbor for whatever reasons, and he played with Gooley too, and that actually was a pretty good pairing. But he gives Martone the shot in front of the net, right? For the people that say, "Oh, he's not physical." Well, oh no, he's got an edge, and we saw it there. And he made a couple of nice hits, some beautiful friggin' broke up some plays really well. I thought once again we saw all of the elements that are going to make David Reinbacher a hell of a good NHL defenseman.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you make a great point. As the game progressed, he got better and better. And then the thing with playing with Hudson is that it's not easy. It's not as easy as when you would think, because he never does what you expect anybody to do. So you kind of like you can't play him like you can't play as a partner with him like you play with anybody else. You kind of have to adapt to Hudson's game, which is like a little bit of a I don't know, free-form painter that just does stuff that really out of the lines that just you don't expect. So I give him a pass a bit on that one. But the one thing that I really liked about Reinbacker's game, besides the defensive game, and you've noticed it, and I've noticed it too, Grant. Really good breakout passes today. He really did some really hard, crisp passes that
Yeah.
could have led to something if some guys were ready. It's almost like some of the Habs players were not expecting him. I think both Zook and Texier both kind of missed a really nice pass on a breakout from Reinbacker, both of them in the second period, if I'm not mistaken, just because
Yeah.
they weren't fully ready for it. So the guys will adapt to him too. Really content with what he's done, and he plays with a little bit of jam, as you said, with Martone, and maybe for now, playing with a more steady partner like Goulet, or he played a bit with Jacky, might be better for now. But I still see him, as we talked about so much. Once he gets a little bit more confident, and then he maybe a few games with Hudson during the preseason to get used to it, I think he'll be just fine. He's too intelligent not to figure it out.
Yeah. I think maybe the recipe for Galley here in the playoffs is just dress him every third game, and he'll be he'll be a world beater.
Oh, geez, eh?
Galley played a pretty good game tonight. Obviously, he scored a
did.
goal and was making things happen. Was, let's face it, one of the better forwards on the Habs tonight. People are Dach. There's always guys that have to be whipping boys. It seems like, and now Dach's the, again, like he's had to come back from multiple injuries again this year. Has he been great since he came back? No, but he's playing with friggin' Bolduc and Kapanen, who haven't been setting the friggin' world on fire the last month either.
Yeah.
The Canadians going into the playoffs are still trying to find middle lines here. I guess it's going to be Texier, Newhook, and Kapanen, or sorry, Demidov as the second line. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, any line with Demidov on it has potential and can be good, because he can spark a line himself. But we have seen. I'll give Newhook credit. 2 years ago, he really needed to work on his defense, and it's really improved. He's needed, since he became a Montreal Canadian, to work on his face-offs, and that's really improved in the I think he must have spent the time off when he was injured working on face-offs, because since he's came back, he's taking important draws now. And he is a lefty, and they do need it's almost like he's replaced Deneau now as the left center in the lineup. It almost seems that way. Deneau, did you notice he's I think he's going to start the playoffs on the wing with Evans. I think that's kind of how the regular season was looking. And they're going to try Kapanen, Bolduc, and Dach. I mean, I like the potential of those three as a line. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much chemistry from them yet, but at least on paper and when you look at the different parts, that line could maybe be decent. It just hasn't. And then, hey, what's this? 2 games together?
Yeah.
So we got to be patient with that. Unfortunately, we can't be too patient, because the playoffs are starting, and you can't say, well, give them 7 games, and by the 8th game they'll be really there'd be no 8th game if
I know.
So I just it's like I guess the top 2 lines are we can expect those 6 because it seems like obviously the top line is the top line. The second line, it looks like it's going to be Texier, Newhook, and Demi. And Newhook has been playing well. I guess he's been out playing Kapanen, so I guess he's got to be the second line center to start the playoffs here. But going into the playoffs with question marks at center, especially the middle two spots, versus a Tampa team that won't have those same question marks.
I know.
It's where Tampa has a clear edge at this point.
Right on. It's going to be guys are going to have to step up because right now, to me, it's not quite good enough at center. I still, it's maybe a leap of faith. I would switch out that Dach and Texier, in the lines, switch them lines, both of them. I think Dach, you get a little bit more in the playoffs because of his size, and I think he could do a little bit more damage in the front of the net with Demidov getting open so often and getting shots to the net. Maybe with Dach in the front of the net, you might have a little bit more success. And I think Texier matches up better against opponents on the third line, and he's maybe not as overwhelmed. But I do understand. I think he just tried to go with a speed line, and there's so much speed between Texier, Newhook, and Demidov, and maybe that's fine. I think that's just maybe his solution. But that center line is going to have to get a lot better. And Newhook has played better. I think you make really good points about his face-off and just his overall game. The problem has always been the vision. I don't know if it's there to really be creative as much as you'd like him to be. But then again, statistically, he's putting the puck in the net, like he's getting goals and he's doing them off the rush. And I can't fault him for that with the defensive game that's improved and the face-off ability. I mean, he deserves it. Right now, he's the best option for Montreal, but it's got to be that third line's going to have to find some chemistry. And again, it's going to take shots on net. It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take just taking it to the opponents more. They can't be as patient as they are now, waiting for opportunities. They're going to have to create them a lot more than they have. And when you create opportunities, even if it doesn't work out and they're able to contain you, at least you're making things happen and keeping the puck in the other end. You just cannot be patient against Tampa because they'll eat you alive. I think there's a little bit of issues there with the connection, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll do a little bit more talking, folks, for Grant. But hey, curious to know what everybody thinks of today's game because the playoffs, not today's game. I wouldn't worry too much about today's game. It's not that important, folks. Do not stress. Do not worry about the Habs being ready for the playoffs. They will be ready, and they are ready.
So, are you ready to host a podcast for yourself, there, Rick?
I was worried there for a while, Grant. I'm not really good at that. You're the one. You're the man. I'm not the man when it comes to that.
How'd you do? Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know what happened. My connection just went kapoop. I tried to Google something on here, and I'm just gonna have to just close Windows and not. I'll check on my phone if I want to. But I was curious about Kirby Dach. Maybe you go to like Kirby Dach reference and check how's he been plus minus the last few games? Like, is he hurting the team? I don't think he's been like the way people talk. He's -3 every game or something. He's just killing the team. Like, I don't understand the overreaction to. Like, what do they want from him? He's just coming back again from a long layoff. It's going to take a little while. He's got different line mates every freaking game. He's playing with two guys he never played with in his life. And what do they want? Do they expect like I don't know. I think he's been competing. I don't think he's been terrible. His defensive game's been fine. He's not hurting the team. No. I still think that come playoff time, you need him and want him in the friggin' lineup. Anyone that suggests that you don't dress Dach in the playoffs, they're not understanding that you need a guy like that in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I
I agree.
mean, he's gonna. You want him to step up more? Yes, obviously, but okay. In the last going into tonight, he was minus one game and minus one another. So 2 games, and he was even the other games. So um, let me just see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the last 7 games going into tonight, he was -2. So, you know, is
Yeah.
that horrible? You want if he's not producing, you don't want him to be a liability defensively. Well, he hasn't been, and he brings us some size. We saw him getting a couple scrums tonight, like he's playing with a little bit of an edge lately. They're going to need that in the playoff. They're going to need Dach because he's one of the few guys up front that can actually, that's a decent fighter. He can fight, and they're going to need that against Tampa because guess what? Tampa's going to be. We saw it last game. They're going to be friggin' punching guys all the time, and Dach is going to be one of the guys that is actually a protector out there. So, let's just. Why don't we're Montreal Canadiens fans. Why do we have to hate players on the Montreal Canadiens? I'm not saying everybody, but there's always guys that fans want to hate. And if it's not hate, at least really dislike. Like extremely dislike, just a notch below hate, because I know people don't like to use the word hate, but it is like let's why don't we cheer for all of the players on the Habs going into the playoffs? Why don't we root for them to do well and hope that they do well, as opposed to just saying, oh, he can't help the team. Oh, he's no good. Well, the Montreal Canadiens got 106 points this year because they're a good hockey team. And throw this last few games out the window. It doesn't matter. The game that we saw against Tampa, that's what we're going to see in the playoffs. That's the team that we will see game 1 in the playoffs. They'll be friggin' motivated. They'll be tough. They'll be ready, and just win one of those games in Tampa, and it's anybody's series. If they lose those two, it's going to be tough. But win one of the games in Tampa. That's the goal here now. Come back home, tied 1-1. Bell Center, be a friggin' zoo, and rock and roll from there.
Right on, Grant. I mean, you said it so well. The first game, especially, Tampa Bay is gonna try to send messages out, and Montreal will also be sending messages. And you're gonna need a guy like Dach to answer the call, and he can. And the only thing I'd criticize a little bit about him for the last 5 or 6 games, he only has 2 shots on net. He's got to get a bit more shots on net, but also. Look, he's not playing with a line that right now has much puck possession time either. It's not like it's not like everybody else is doing these great plays and Dach is not following up with them. Like they're not. It's not a lot of opportunities on the lines he's playing with. So put him on another line. I think it'd be different, and that's why it gets back to my point of before.
Yeah,
I would seriously move Dach and Texier. Switch them lines. I think you're better off for both of them, and I think with a guy, you got to stop judging players over what you'd want them to be and start being realistic of who they are. Dach can make some good passes, but he's not really a full puck possession guy. I think he does that okay. But with other guys on the line that play that game, well, now you're putting him in a position to succeed. They hold on to the puck. They're good on the rush. They create breakdowns, and then he just swoops in with his size and shot and just gets something on the net. He could do it, and he would do it. And I think he's going to be so helpful for the Habs. And I really have some expectations that he'll play much better as the playoffs come. He'll be into it. He'll be ready to go. It took him a few days to get the cobwebs out, but he's ready, and I think he'll do just fine. I have no doubts on Kirby Dach.
Dave saying we want more intensity from Dach. Well, you want more intensity. Don't speak for everybody, David. If he played anywhere close to the way Gallagher plays, I would have no objection. Yeah, well, one guy's 5'9" and one guy's 6'4". The 5'9" guy always looks like he's playing harder than the 6'4" guy because he makes 16 strides before the other guy makes 2. So, I don't think there's been any issue with Dach's intensity lately. I don't think he's never going to play like Brendan Gallagher, but who the hell does?
Yeah.
No, Brendan Gallagher's Brendan Gallagher. We're talking about a 6'4" guy here that they don't play like 5'9" guys play differently than 6'4" guys because they have to. Kirby Dach is he's getting in scrums. He's doing the extra stuff. Is he the most intense guy in the world? No. But how many 6'4" guys can you say play intense? How many are Eric Lindros out there? They don't look it because they don't make as many strides as little smaller guys. So they don't look like they're competing sometimes, but they are. And I want Kirby Dach out there. They need him. If he has a terrible playoff, then okay, I'll criticize and say, all right, that was disappointing. But even still, and then the people that say you don't even re-sign him, look, he's an RFA. He's not going to be able to ask for much. It's $4 million qualifying offer. That's probably what he'll take. That's going to be below the average salary in the NHL. He'll be back next year. And I'll always say this, you need 2 years after serious knee injury before you're 100%. He's not yet 100%. I know it's hard to be patient, fans. I know, but we got to be patient with Kirby Dach. And even if he doesn't have a great playoff, I'm not writing him off. Next year, that's okay. If we don't see, if Kirby Dach's still less than a half a point game per player next year, then you start to you look at it and say, well, maybe we got to move on from Dach, find another top 9 piece a big guy that maybe produces a little more, maybe fights a little more, or whatever the case may be. But we do have to be patient with this guy, considering how many injuries he's had to deal with the last couple of years.
Yes.
Francois saying media and social networks are constantly saying Dach is soft and not physical. He's 4th for the Habs in hits per 60, even at playing center at the start of the year. And he fights. One of the few guys, by the way, up front that'll fight. Like Zachary Bolduc will never get in a fight, I don't think, in his NHL career. He has no interest whatsoever in ever dropping the gloves. He'll hit, but he won't ever drop the gloves. He's not you can tell. He doesn't want anything to do with getting punched in the head. Dach doesn't mind getting punched in the head. You need some of those guys. You need some of those guys because guess what? Montreal Canadiens are going to be getting punched in the head in this series, and it's going to be constant. And you need guys that don't mind that. Dach doesn't mind that, and he'll punch back. And he's got the size, and he's got the leg, and they need that. So let's jump on the Dach bandwagon here, folks, and root for him to have a good playoff because they're going to need him. They need Dach. They need Goulet. They need, they need Anderson. They need Jacky and Struble. They need, Slav. They need all of these guys to step up, play physical, and give back as much as they take, because it's going to be a war, and it's going to be fun.
With Dach too is you have to remember that during the playoffs when there's a lot of hooking and they let a lot more things slide, you can't will yourself as much through opponents because it's just not possible. Dach can power himself to the front of the net. Dach can power himself into scoring position or Dach can power himself into getting the lead over an opponent. Man, like I said, you could go only so far with willingness and intensity and all those things, but when they let everything slide, you're kind of finished. And the options are so limited. So,
Yeah,
even if Dach doesn't produce points, but if he could get in the front of the net, if he could force opponents to cover him, if he could force teams to double team him once in a while and create space, he'll be useful that way. You don't always, it's team
absolutely.
offense. So sometimes there's that famous there's expression that I've used a few times in the past, right? You create offense without the puck. Dach can do that when he's getting his size into the hard areas and forcing opponents to get out of position to cover him.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know a few people are mentioning, Slav back on the second line. But then who the hell goes up on the first line?
Yeah.
The first line's going to play 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
Who are you comfortable with other than those three playing 20 plus minutes? They might play 24 in the playoffs. They're going to get leaned on big time. So, yeah, and you know what? That's what teams do that have good first lines in the playoffs. Guess what? They play a shitload. Like, do you think McDavid and Draisaitl play 15 minutes a game in the playoffs? Right? They're out there 25 minutes.
Yes, they
because,
are.
You can rest once the playoffs are over. You can't, they'll be playing huge minutes. So do you want Alex Texier playing 23 minutes or,
No.
No. Zach Bolduc. How about Dach? I bet you that's who you'd want up there, eh, folks? The majority of you? Dach playing 23 minutes, the Mr. Intensity that you all keep saying. Anyway, no. At this point, that's the only line I know for sure that's going to stay together. They're not going to.
Right.
They're going to be. Hey, a lot of good teams in the past have they load up that top line. They're difference makers at playoff time. Like, did the Islanders break up Gillies, Trottier, and Bossy at playoff time? Did no, they're going to be a trio. They're going to play 23 minutes a game. They're going to hopefully produce, and a couple empty net goals for Cole in the playoffs. He's been saving them, folks. He's been saving them for the playoffs. Cole's going to get two empty netters and salt the series against Tampa with empty net goals.
I like it. I can see it happening. I'm going to put some money on that. Maybe I'm even going to put my house on a betting site there. But the advantage that they have that line too is that they're a really good puck possession team, and if you have the possession of the puck, it's a lot less tiring than chasing after it. So you could play those 22, 23, 24 minutes. That's the advantage you have with Slav on the ice, is that you do have the puck on possession of the puck a lot more often, and if you do, it just simplifies things so much. The other team can't score when you have the puck and they're chasing and you're tiring them out, but that's what you want. You want that team to have the puck, make moves, and just keep the puck down low and create opportunities that way.
Absolutely. When I went off air, my images that I had on disappeared, so I can't. Whenever I have to reload something during the podcast, I can't help it. It comes up on screen. Maybe there's a way not to. But anyway, just quickly here, Jarosky ended his playoff today. They got swept, shut out once again. He played 16 minutes today, but still not creating too much. Here's a look at 19-year-olds, okay? Playoff statistical comparison. Now, this says U19, but anyway. Demidov, 6 goals, either 18 or just turned 19, okay? In the and it's KHL, not MHL. All right. Demidov, 6 games, 3 goals, 2 assists, .83. Kuznetsov, 12 games, 7 goals, 2 assists, .9 points, .75. Podkolzin, 16 games, 11 points, .69. Tolvanen, 11 games, 6 goals. All of these guys scored goals, right? .64. Kaprizov, 5 games, 3 goals, .60 points, goals per game. And Alex in 10 games, no goals, 2 assists, 2 points. So we're both guys, Rick, that put stock in what you do at playoff time. And, you can sugarcoat it, you can ignore it, you can do whatever you like. You can say, well, he ran out of gas as the season went along. And yeah, that's probably true because he's skinny and he still needs to gain some weight and put on some pounds. But there's no guarantee he's ever going to be a big, stocky guy. He's probably not. If by 19 you're still really skinny, odds are that that's your body type and that you're not ever going to be like he's similar build to Pettersson,
Wow.
Is Pettersson a big, thick kid now? Bulky?
Jeez,
no, he's not, right?
No.
If your frame isn't to put on 25 pounds, it's probably not a good idea to put on 25 pounds. So will he ever be like bulky? Probably not. So, he's going to have to play a skill. Mike Ribeiro is another example, right? He does remind me a bit of Ribeiro and how he stick handles and stuff.
That's true.
And maybe his play away from the puck and a few things like that. He's taller, but kind of a Ribeiro type player who had some 80-point seasons. So we're not talking about a bum here, right?
Oh, no.
But just don't ever expect him to be muscular. Don't ever expect him to be physical. That's not going to be his game. Now, do I think that that's a fit for the Canadians going forward? I watched him in the playoffs here, and he's years away. Like, there's no doubt that, you're going to have to be patient, and he's going to need AHL time. He'll go back to the KHL next year. I hope he has a productive summer and he puts on some weight and he's got stamina throughout the season, because I think his last 20 games he had 6 points or something like that. Like, there was a real drop off in his production. We saw that with Pettersson in his draft year, where he was just dynamite at the start of the year, and then the second half and in the playoff, he wasn't productive. I dropped him quite a bit because I thought this guy's not going to be a playoff type guy. He's had some fantastic regular seasons, but to date, at least, I don't think you would call him a difference maker at playoff time. So will Zurowski be a playoff type guy that'll help the Habs win? That's, to me, is going to have to be what he'll have to answer those questions. He'll have to get stronger. He'll have to compete harder. Like these people that think, that Dach lacks intensity, if they'd have watched these playoff games with Zurowski, they'd say the same thing, that he lacks intensity. So that's got to come. But there's no doubt that he's smart. He's got tremendous puck skills. I don't think he's going to be a goal scorer, but he can make plays. Do you think, perhaps, Rick, because it's become pretty obvious that the Canadians need, I think, in the middle six, they need a couple of physical guys that bring size, physicality, and skill, kind of that combination, as well as being a good two-way, all-around kind of players. Do you think perhaps Zurowski could be a trade chip? While his value's high because of what he did production-wise in the K this year, and let's be honest, teams aren't sending their pro scouts to Russia to watch games. Like, they're still not going to Russia to scout.
Right.
very little because of the Ukraine war, obviously.
Yep.
Well, I've kept an eye on him pretty well this year, and I don't see a fit with the Canadians, just like I don't for Adam Engstrom. But I do think that there will be teams that find both quite attractive and think, okay, Jurowski can be a top six. As if he can develop the other parts of his game, get stronger, he can be a top six forward winger for us someday. I think Montreal's just got too much skill ahead of him that he won't be a top six guy, and I don't know that he's an ideal bottom six player. So, a package of Zurowski, Engstrom, I think could be fairly attractive in the off season, and maybe something like that. If the Canadians want to apparently they tried to make a big splash at the trade deadline. Maybe that they're part of a deal that the Canadians make in the offseason, and that to try to, and we'll see better after the playoffs here if that's the case, that they really, if there's there's a piece of the puzzle that really needs to be filled. If it's a middle, it's in the middle two lines, and it's size, physicality, skill combination. Do you think maybe that those two could be, well, their value's high, and maybe some teams haven't done their full homework and really think Zurowski's because we've seen, I think Elliot Friedman has said it, or a couple of those insider guys saying, I've talked to executives that say that Zurowski's the steal of the draft type thing, and that. So there is that sort of league perception that Zurowski's a great prospect. And there was a list yesterday or the day before saying the two best prospects outside of the NHL are number one Zurowski and number two Hage. Well, if that's the perception around the league, Zurowski's got a lot of trade value right now. I know I know fans love Zurowski and stuff for the most part, but I don't know. I might consider, trade high, they always say, right?
Yeah.
There's not necessarily a spot for Engstrom next year. I don't think there is. And there certainly won't be a spot for Zurowski for at least 3 years, I don't think. Their window now is to win, especially starting next year if they don't win this year. I don't know. What would you think of maybe those guys being potential part of a trade package?
Well, Grant, I have no doubt that Engstrom doesn't have a future in Montreal. So I convinced that he will be traded sooner rather than later. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's soon enough he's going to run out of time in terms of being a having to be exposed if you bring him back down to Laval. So and you want to call him up. So you kind of have to trade him sooner rather than later, or else if he's going to be sent down to the minors, you might not be able to call him up again without putting him on waivers, and you'll lose him anyways for nothing. So I don't see a very long future for Ekstrom in Montreal. I really think by the summer or maybe by training camp, he's gonna be moved for something. I think it's a smart thing to do. Zurowski's a little bit tricky because perception is important, and the idea is that even though you know, he might be a limited point producer, but he could produce points even if it's assist. But it is a problem because you can't use him really in Montreal. I don't know where you'd fit, as you said very well. I don't know where you fit him. Um, you're running out of place in the top six. I don't see how he could be a center at the NHL because he just doesn't have the size, doesn't have the pace, doesn't have the defensive aspect to his game. So he's got to be a winger, and he's got to be probably a right winger, which kind of, it's kind of slotted pretty packed right now in that position. So you definitely have to think about moving, considering putting Zurowski out there as an option. And if he's as valuable as guys like Elliot Friedman are saying, you should get a good return. And I think it's one of those guys that you definitely look. Good teams package young players to get the piece they're missing, and you can't always. you can't get so obsessed. You can't fall in love with prospects so badly that you never move them, because eventually they're not gonna have the value you want them to have, because you don't have a chance to develop them. You're not putting them in the position where they're going to succeed. If you put Zorowski on a third or fourth line, I'm sorry, even if he's skilled, he's just not going to produce, because he doesn't have enough players to play with, and he doesn't have enough time in offensive situations. So definitely, I would definitely, let people know that he could be had. And the idea is just to package him and make sure that your return has to be a player that A, fits a need for Montreal, and B, has to be available for them for a few years. You can't trade him for I don't want to trade him for a rental at this point, because I think Montreal's window's opening. I think it's getting kind of complete right now, but whatever piece you're going to get, I want it to be a piece that's going to be there for a few years. I just don't want it to be for a rental or for an average player that could kind of fill the role. It's got to be the right trade, but I definitely would. I'd let teams know that he could be had right now and see what comes out of it.
Yeah, no, that's good. Those are good points, Rick. And I don't know. I'm not sure that I would be that transparent, though, if I'm Hughes and say, "Oh, Zorowski's available." If there is this league-wide kind of perception, or there are teams that think that he's the cat's meow, I don't let on that he's even available, and
Really?
and then say, well, okay, but we want Zorowski in this deal, and him and how, I don't know, he's our top prospect. Can you sweeten the pot a little bit? Maybe throw in a first-round pick too. Oh, okay, and all right then. Well, okay then.
Maybe.
Instead of the Zorowski's available type thing, because then you're lowering his value, right? You gotta keep your cards close to your vest there, Rick. I think.
But at the same time, maybe you create a sort of a competition between different teams, right? You're creating more of a market where teams are like, oh, I just found out he's available. I want to make a move before another team gets him, right? Because
but if you make this guy available, that's apparently the top prospect outside of the NHL, teams are going to start going back and looking at the tape, and if they do, then they're going to see what we're seeing.
That's true. So, that's true. Also,
yeah. You make it a spur of the moment thing, and you're talking on the phone, and that you're making the deal like, and then the guy says, "Well, what about Zorowski?" And they don't even have time to go ask the scouts. To go look at this guy really strong, and the GM thinks, oh, this Zorowski guy, he's the best. I read that he's the best prospect outside the NHL. So, let's get all right, let's do that deal. And then all the scouts after after the deal's been sealed, go back and look at the video and say,
boy, oh boy,
did we really have to give up McDavid for this guy? All right, Rick. We've got you over an hour here now, my friend. It's almost 11 o'clock. Witching hour for you. Do you have to go in real early tomorrow?
Not real early, but I try to get there by 8. And I might have to bring my dog actually to the clinic tomorrow. He's been sick for the last 2 days, so it might be a long day tomorrow for other reasons. So we'll see how it goes.
Barney.
Yeah, Barney.
How old's Barney now?
I got him from a shelter on this August 10th, 2015.
Oh wow!
So he's getting up there.
Okay. Oh man. Okay. Well, all my best to your beloved Barney, my friend. I hope I hope he bounces back okay. My best wishes with that, my friend. And thank you as always for coming out. It's always a pleasure talking.
Thanks, my friend.
It's always a great day to talk hockey when you're here with me, my friend.
Thank you, Grant, and thank you again to all the people that are with us. It's I couldn't ask for a better partner, and I couldn't ask for better listeners. So have a great night, everyone. Playoffs start. Let's be ready for this.
Okay, thanks, Rick.
Thank you,
Rick Springhetti, folks. the one and only. Last night I got a little short with a guy and cut him off. You know, I just I don't want people that they're on here that are just always negative, constantly negative, sarcastic. Um, I know that's it means I lose people, and there's probably people that get turned off by it and end up not coming back as well. But I don't know. Life's too short to just to have to deal with toxicity on social media. As someone who has 24,000 followers on Twitter, uh, maybe a lot of you can't relate to it, but I get a lot of vitriol and negativity, and it just wears on me after a while. I'm This is a little different podcast in that I you know I try to read every comment and I try to interact with everybody. But with that, you know, there's also the fact that then sometimes I get pissed off because there's certain people that just seem to come on here to only to stir the pot or only to be negative or only to be, and I don't I don't want that with this community. I think it's a fantastic community we've got here, and yes, I mean, I'm not saying never be negative. Like, a lot of you can be and are at times, but not all the time, right? And there's just, like I say, I keep an eye on posters, and there's certain people that if all they ever do is to come on to just disagree and be, facetious and negative, I don't want them to be part of this community. And yes, it's going to mean that maybe the podcast doesn't grow as large as it could, but you are a big part of what makes the HabsCast unique. And I just think that, um, you know, we have to weed out the bad apples, and it will only, maybe the community won't be as large as it could be, but the larger you get to, then the worse it gets as well. Like HF boards, it may have been the most popular message board out there, but also the most toxic. Twitter, yeah, maybe the most popular, platform of its type, but it's a cesspool, right? So, anyways, I'm trying to moderate as best I can. Maybe sometimes I'm a little bit too quick to pull the trigger, or I maybe get pissed off a little too quickly at somebody, and but it's going to happen because I just I I wear my heart on my sleeve. I care about the Canadians. I care about the HabsCast, and I care what people think. I don't want people to you know to be unkind on here all the time. And if they are, I'm going to ban them. It's it's what I feel I have to do. But anyway, I just thought that I would address that. Okay, let's get to speaking of the community. Let's get to you guys here. Zeffel Cave, Habs and 7. Jeez, have you had 14 beers tonight, Zeffel Cave, or what? Double vision, Habs and 7. Yeah, maybe. I hope so, man. I think it'll take 7. I can't see them beating Tampa uh, in 5. I am Newfie says Tampa in 5. Geez, I hope the Habs can do at least one better than last year, right? Last year they won one playoff game. They have to at least win 2 playoff games this year. Would I be happy with that? No, but yeah, I hope it goes at least 7, and if they lose, okay, too bad. But yeah, um, you don't want to be down 3-1 going back to Tampa. That would be tough. But if they can get it back to Montreal Game 6, I think Montreal somehow wins the Game 6. The forum, the Bell Center will be just a rocking, and get her back to Tampa for Game 7. I don't see Tampa winning fewer than 3 games in this series, but at the same time, maybe you get it to a Game 7, and then who knows, right? Greg Jiggy saying Carolina, Montreal, Boston, Philly. Well, you know what? Pittsburgh's beatable. I mean, when you got Samuel Ersson in nets, McDonald and Bonk on the point, you're pretty much unbeatable there, buddy. I am Newfie. Thanks for your optimism. Kenny being a little bit sarcastic there. Ottawa in 7, says Ken. Buffalo in 7, Montreal in 6, and Pittsburgh in 6. I'm okay with the Habs winning with an injured player or 2 out of Tampa's team. Yeah. Yes, so am I. Does that make me a bad person? No, just makes me a strong Habs fan, I think. Habs have the energy of youth in their favor that we can hope outcast the older Tampa players. Outlast, I guess you mean, eh? Yeah. Well, let's hope so. I don't think that Tampa's like replete with old guys. Like they have a lot of guys. They have a lot of players in their late 20s, early 30s. That's typically what the majority of a successful playoff roster is composed of. Is 75% players 27 to 32, and then a couple of guys older and a couple of guys younger. We'll see. Montreal has youth on their side. There's no doubt about that. The East is wide open. Let's hope so. I mean, Tampa, look, they were what? Plus 60 goal differential. So clearly they're, at least 30 goals better than Montreal in the goal differential. So they're going to, rightfully so, they're favored. They've got a tighter defense. They've got they've got the top 2 point producer in the league. I mean, Suzuki's great, but freaking Kucherov had 25 more points than him or whatever, so he's even greater. Winnipeg is losing to Utah 2-1. They obviously have to win. Calgary, Colorado tied 1-1. Pittsburgh's ahead 4-3. Doesn't matter. LA Kings 3-2 over Vancouver. Geez, they lucked out getting to play Vancouver twice at the end of the year. Boston beat Jersey 4-0. Carolina over the Islanders 4-2. Washington, Columbus 2-1. Mini over Anaheim 3-2, which tightens up the West a little bit more. Is this up to date? I'm just curious to see. Ducks have 90. Oh, okay. So that's it, eh? Everything's decided. All right. Nashville and San Jose are done. St. Louis, Winnipeg, done. Fell a little short. Guess I should have paid a little more attention to that the last couple of nights. Okay. Right now, Anaheim's in the wild card position. Utah's got 2 games in hand, though, so holy frig, eh? Utah could still win the Pacific Division. It's 93 for Vegas, 91 for Edmonton, 90 for Anaheim, 90 for Utah, 89 for LA. Okay, that's pretty crazy. Let's get to a few more comments here. We go along. Radek Bonk was at the game. Well, the parents always make it to the game there, Jiggy. I mean, frig, if Reinbacher's dad could fly in from Switzerland the morning, find out that morning and make it to the game, Radek sure as hell better make it to his son's first game. But yeah, it's always special to see in their debut not only a point but a goal and an assist. That was pretty cool. For don't be expecting a big offensive defenseman, but he's pretty solid. Got to point out that Demidov had a heck of a regular season, rookie season. Could not ask for much better, considering the line mates he had all year changing. He 62 points, eh? Anaheim, yeah. Got a game left. Seneca can still catch him, I guess. I don't know that Demidov didn't have line mates changing all year. Most of the year he played with Newhook, Cappy, or Slav Cappy, so it wasn't that big of a carousel. 34-point difference in the goal differential between Tampa and Montreal. So they may have been even in points, but regulation wins 6 more for Tampa, plus 34. Ended the season winning a couple. Habs in the last 10 were 7-3, Tampa 6-4. So, on paper, Tampa's got a slight edge. Home records, Tampa obviously was better than Montreal at home. Habs were a little better, 3 more points than Tampa on the road. So pretty close as far as home and away. Not a distinct advantage for Tampa being the home team in this series. Again, on paper. I really hope Page was watching the game because he could have more impact than Martone does for Philly. Well, he decided to go back, and I wanted to mention this when Rick was here, but didn't get a chance to. Kent Hughes was interviewed in the intermission. By the way, folks, hit that friggin' like button, eh? I would really appreciate it. Hughes was interviewed in the intermission and asked about Hage, and he kind of echoed things that I had been speculating. Unfinished business, right? They lost that friggin' game. And I even speculated that 2 weeks ago when he was talking when he had the original conversation with Kent, that he may have said, like, look, if we lose, I want to, if we don't win the national championship, I want to go back, finish the job. Horkoff hasn't signed, right? So I think that those two made a pact. Like those two in general said, look, if you're coming back, I'm coming back. Also get closer to his degree, as Kent mentioned, get stronger, 1 more year of development physically, Didn't mention his younger brother, but I think that another factor. So you combine all those things. There was more reasons, and he'll also get money, right? It's not like college. Michigan probably said, "Well, look, we'll you stay here, we'll look after you." It's not like rookie contracts in the NHL are exorbitant. So you know, what were the the reasons to stay versus the reasons to leave? I don't blame them. If they're all genuine, and maybe again, like Kent mentioned the degree part, maybe there was like it was one of the reasons why you don't go the OHL route if you're a legitimate NHL prospect is your family wants you to get an education. Your parents do, you do, and for all we know, there was a promise made to his parents that he'd get his degree, and maybe that's something that's just uh, ultra important to him, and especially given all of the what happened the tragedy to his dad. um anyway, it's just i want to uh I want to give a shout out to our great sponsor here, Next Level Hockey, specialists in hockey development, trusted by NHL prospects. Whether you're looking to elevate your shooting, skating, stick handling, or overall game, NLH is here to take your game to the next level. Visit them at nextlevelhockey.com and follow their Instagram at nextlevelhockey_ for daily tips, posts, and updates. If you or someone you know have young aspiring hockey players who want to elevate their game, trust Next Level Hockey to guide them forward. Next Level Hockey, it's in the name. Also, my buddy Caveman Chris, Bonachère Caves, open the May 24th weekend, folks. Put this on your holiday calendar. I'm telling you, it's a must for anyone that's going to be visiting or even lives in the Eastern Ontario and you haven't been to Bonachère Caves. You don't know what you've been missing. It's cool. It's very inexpensive. You get a professional guided tour by fantastic students, like summer students, and they're all great. Chris just hires the best, most effervescent uh, students, college students, university students to guide you on your tours. They know the caves inside and out, and you get all sorts of history on caves, on bats, on hieroglyphics, the whole works. Um, Visit their website. Just Google Bonachère Caves, and it'll come right up. You'll see some great pictures, and make it a point to be, hey, we're supporting Canada here these days, right? And I know 90% of my audience is Canadian. So look, check out, support your local tourist attractions. And this is private family owned business run by hockey fans. Go check them out this summer. You won't be disappointed. Bonachère Caves. All right. Good point about small guys looking more intense because of the number of strides. Yeah, it always looks that way. Well, not always. I mean, Michkov doesn't always look that intense, but Jiggy, a little shot there. Actually, Michkov had a good game. The guy, when the puck's in the offensive zone, he's good. Not crazy about him in the other three zones, but offensive zone, you got to look out for him. You also got to look out for him sitting at the blue line, like he was on that breakaway chance. With Dach's reach, he makes it difficult for the opposing players to take the puck from him. Yeah, exactly. Puck possession. It's one of his fortes. teammates, line mates, you mean? He played with 72 quite a bit in the playoffs, and he's not. Don't believe that guy's. Well, he's certainly not 5'9" anyway. They mixed it up. He played with some. He played with different lineups. They were trying to. They had him playing with Kuznetsov a fair bit in the playoffs. That didn't really click. They tried him, a couple other things didn't really click. So here we go. Here, Salavat. I just want to see what the lineups say for today. But they were mixing it up, mixing and matching. I watched quite a bit of the game today. Yeah, he played with Suchkov today. Not sure how big he is. Let me just do a quick Google search here. Yeah, he's the 5'9" kid. Yeah, okay. He's 72 as well. So, all right. Maybe I need to get my eyes checked. So he played a fair bit with Suchkov this year. So yeah, but Suchkov, 33 points. So he was one of the better forwards on UFA this year. Zrosky is the Habs' number one trade piece. Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair to say. Zrosky has a lot of publicity. I would for sure get a more physical, heavy mid-sixer. Well, it has to be an option, I think. Again, I don't, he might be a good, he might develop into a second-line winger. I don't know that it'll be in Montreal. Like, there's some doubt there for me. So, he has good trade value. There's a team out there that offers a piece that, and I'm not talking about a 33-year-old or something, somebody that can, that can be with the team through their contender window here. It might be something to consider. Second line center and a winger is our need going forward. We have too many bottom six players. Jurowski and Engstrom as the start of a package for an elite top six, be it a center or winger, would be ideal. Yeah, I think so. Bonus went full Mike Terrian and totally torched his players after tonight games. He was crying while saying they can't face adversity. Well, were they not already eliminated? I don't. What's adversity about being eliminated? I don't quite get that. Any good free agents this year? There's never many. Don't think it's a bumper crop. Yeah, as usual. Players are getting signed now. They get, teams are getting smarter, right? They sign them freaking 8-year deals when they're 20, 21 years old now. UBU, Grant, being authentic is important. Thanks, Kenny. We should trade with Dallas for Jason Robertson. Yeah. It would be expensive. I don't know that, Robertson's not a great skater. He's not physical. He's big and he can score goals. Good offensive player. What would the cost of players involved be? Yeah, it'd be high. It's critical to have good value contracts, not just the best players. True. They'll want a king's ransom. Windsor No need to worry about the bad elements of post. The diehard fans will always be with you and support you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just, hey, I react I react swiftly sometimes to it, and you know, but it's not like somebody posts one negative thing and I say, okay, that's it. Like Jeff NG it had been constant, and I just after a while, it's just finally okay. This is I've given you about 15 chances, and it's just every time you post it, it's it's not nice. That's it. I'm sorry, but I have to moderate this. I just don't want it to become toxic. It's really important to me. This is my baby. I don't want to be over controlling, but I like to shape it into something really unique and special here. And I think that's the route it's been going so far. The other thing with Robertson is he would want to play in Canada as opposed to playing in a no-tax state like Texas. I think guys, we're not going to be getting Jason Robertson. I think you got to not worry about that. Rick Bowness is burning bridges, and he doesn't care, and I don't mind that. Hey, Rick Bowness is 73 or whatever. He doesn't give a flying. Exactly, he doesn't. He doesn't care, and the guys that he's got there, like you talk about Michel Therrien. Well, who are the guys? Anyway, yeah, uh, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He quit mid-season in Winnipeg. He was fed up there. The guy doesn't need the money. He doesn't need the aggravation. If he's not back, he's not going to care one bit. So, Bones is a hell of a man. He's a great man. So difficult to predict which Tampa will face. They had dominated the first game earlier this year, but Montreal's done really well in games 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. By the way, I got the old message from YouTube today. Cannot monetize your Jarosky video because I must have had a 6.5 second clip in there, and the NHL they're bad, so I don't get any. I'm not going to be getting any money from YouTube for that Jarosky video. But you know what? I took the chance. Instead of asking people to pay on Patreon, I thought, you know what? Everybody's been so kind and generous here, and I've got a great group of people. Here's a little something, all right? Here's a gift for you for your patronage and your generosity all season. I'll chance it, and I figured I'd get flagged, and I did, and so YouTube won't be monetizing that video, but that's okay. I'm glad. You know what I should have done? I should have just made long clips and that's what I'll do next time. The hell with it. They're going to flag it anyway. Like if you got a 6-second clip and that's 1 second too long, frig it. Just do the whole shift. I'll do that a couple more times coming up because you guys deserve that at the very least. I don't have to. Not every video has to be monetized, I guess, right? So anyway, it is what it is. Potential for a cup. I don't know. Might be a little early. Montreal can't trade for him without having a signed contract. A la Dobson. Yeah. I don't be expecting Jason Robertson. And again, I think they've got enough offense. I think they need that size, grit, skill combo, and that doesn't describe Jason Robertson, as great a player he is as he is. Hey Grant, if a Habs player is to have a coming who do you think have a coming out moment versus Tampa in the series? Reinbacher. I don't know who's like Dach. Be nice. Dach can have good 5, 6, 7 game stretches. Here's the time for Dach. They need Dach. I think Anderson will be good. That's no surprise. Dach. Bonus tirade post game. I guess Liney was right after all. About what? Did he say something about? Rick Bowness is beloved in the NHL. He is one of the nicest guys in the league. He really is. I love the Dobson trade. We have a solid D now. Absolutely. Of all the Habs players, who do you think could have a strong coming out moment? Right. Sorry, folks. Once in a while, I repeat because I try to go through every one here. And the type's not huge either. I like the fact that we're starting out on the road. I would start Gallagher and sit Dach. No, they need that size. I'm sorry. As well as Heineman over Jacky. Yeah. Bring back Emil Heineman. Make a trade for him there. You mean Engstrom, I guess? So you don't think Georgie, you don't think size physicality is going to... I don't know. I think they need both those guys for this series. We should have about $20 million next year, right? Utah is in Central, yeah, right. Thanks. They don't say that on the thing. The other part is Montreal going to bring in someone with a contract almost double what Suzuki makes. How does that look for future contract negotiation? Yeah, they're not going to be signing somebody a huge contract. Guys, just let's give we like to go down rabbit holes here sometimes. Let's not turn this into a Jason Rock. Like, it's not going to happen, so let's not make that the predominant discussion, if you don't mind, on let's talk about the playoffs. Let's not talk about, playoffs start next. Let's not talk about somebody that's never going to 1% chance of him becoming a Montreal Canadian. Let's talk about the playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, playoffs. Haha, not the greatest way to get a contract. Surprising he snapped after a meaningless game. Again, he's 73 years old. He doesn't give a flying... You know what? Kent Hughes is one smooth operator. When he talks, he exudes confidence and optimism. Montreal's not going to draft players to improve. They need hockey trades or free agents. Hockey trade is the better way. I think they can get one of the pieces that they haven't been able to do through trade by draft, and that would be with their first-round pick. There's a couple of guys, at least, that I really like in this draft class that I think be perfect in their middle six down the road. I hope they hold on to their first-round pick, and I hope that they draft one of these guys, because I think they might be there. But, Engstrom, Zurowski, second-round pick, maybe throw in another prospect, team that's looking to rebuild. That could be very attractive. Don't forget, teams looking to rebuild aren't always, they like to rebuild a little quicker. And Engstrom, Jurowski, for instance, well, you're getting, certainly in Engstrom, you're getting somebody that can play probably on a bottom feeder right away. So they're getting help right away. At the same time, he's young and he can be there for decades. So that can be more. Suitable. Maybe Francois. I've seen commits where it says that he's committed next year, but personally, I think his brother should probably wait another year because he didn't exactly light up the OHL this year. And I wouldn't be surprised if Alex plays another year plays yet another year in college. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But on CHN, Recruit Watch, and as I went through the list the other day, Francois, and it's why my understanding is that they could see him because the 2026 class includes Hurlbert from Kamloops, and they've got Alex Hage on the list. If Michael Hage is going back, Alex Hage is a prospect in the recruiting system. They might want older brother there 1 year to kind of guide him. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't think that this is etched in stone here that he won't be going back, or that he won't, that he'll be going back to the OHL. But certainly, he could use another year in the OHL. The bullshit going on in the NCAA is in college is hurting CHL. How can they give that player $300-400K for them to play there? Major bullshit. Why would Hage want to leave that? Yeah, well, thumbs up. Hey, Trevor, please hit the like button if you don't mind. I don't know that yesterday's podcast got 100 likes, and I don't like that. I like 100 likes, so it would be great. Although numbers tonight haven't been great. I don't know who else is podcasting tonight. They must be pretty special, but they're not hanging out with me tonight. Well, actually, quite a few of the regulars. I don't know where. I think there was a big storm up north, up in Nunavut. I know. So I don't know if Donnie's even got internet tonight. Donnie McCaskill. I guess they had a big blizzard in Rankin's Inlet. Anyways, Liam McGuire's son is up there, and they couldn't even fly in. Just the blizzard that was happening. So, Donnie, I don't know if I hope all is well up in the Northland. Mark, again, it's getting, he never misses a podcast. No, he hasn't been here for a week since Caulfield scored his 50th. That one's worrying me. I wish we would hear from Mark here. He's a huge part of this community, and all of a sudden he's gone. So Charles, I guess maybe a little too late for him in Scotland. So there's an excuse. I don't mind Charles. I understand when Charles doesn't make the post games, but Alexei Cornway, who had a fantastic season with Cornell, has entered the transfer portal. Is wondering if a top tier program may take a flyer on him. Oh, I imagine, yeah. I don't think he'll be going. He wouldn't enter the transfer portal if he thought he was going like to Division 2 or something. Still, he'll be snapped up by one of the big colleges there. Jarosky isn't small at 6'2". Well, he isn't short, but is there any world where the Habs make a play for McDavid? Yeah. McDavid and Robertson. No need for negative Nellies. No. Bye-bye. Are you comfortable giving back Demi Slav and a few picks? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. The playoffs are coming up, and now we're talking about McDavid. I asked you not to talk about Robertson, and now it's McDavid. Come on, guys. Please. Yeah. Edmonton won't be attracting free agent with McDavid gone. Cap space is a moot point then. Yep. We'll be over with a rising cap. Yeah, well, you keep smoking there, buddy. It ain't happening. Dach fell over tonight and thought he was hurt. Yeah, I know. Thought, oh, here we go again. Stubbed his nail. Stubbed his toe. Tore a fingernail. Got a hangnail. Seattle really looking to make changes. Are you Beniers fan? They'll be making changes, but they won't be trading Beniers. Larson, yeah. All the other usual podcasts have been concluded. Losses tend to attract less viewers. Yeah. There you go. We'll start getting some stragglers over here now. We're up to 63, 64. That'll just slowly build. Haven't seen Glenn since I gave him a poke for only showing up after the other podcasts are done. I haven't seen him since. I guess he got insulted by that. Oh well. Hi Grant, great entertainment as always. Is Hedman ready for David Fretz? Good day, David. Dave. These are the Daves I know. I think Reinbacher looks like he belongs. I agree. There's no Dobson, not yet, but nice to have him available to plug in as a fifth, sixth. Yes. I don't know. I wouldn't have an issue with him starting the playoffs. We'll see. I noticed that Laval called up Louis Jean again from Trois-Rivières. What's that? What do the tea leaves tell me there? They tell me that the Bacher isn't heading back anytime soon, right? So time will tell. Oh yeah. Medicine Hat. I caught the end of that game last night. Medicine Hat ended up winning. They're up 3. The Ruck Twins were at it again, so they're up 3-0 against Calgary. That's pretty well the death knell, I think, for Calgary. Prince Albert won tonight 4-0. I don't see Medicine Hat getting by Prince Albert. They're friggin' strong. Penticton, Prince George, 2-2. Another point for Corrals. I keep an eye on the draft, the high-end draft eligible prospects. See how they're doing points wise. So that's pretty cool. Kelowna's losing 3-0. So we know the Popper doesn't have any points tonight. Hayden Papanicus, sorry. Every now and then I mispronounce it. Ottawa off to a good start. They beat Barrie tonight. I got to make it out for a 67s game. Maybe here with the break before the playoffs start. Try to get out. I have to look at a couple of prospects on the 67s I haven't seen for a while. This HabsCast has really been my priority. Vandenberg, Morelli, Foster, Bose, Sema. Okay. A couple of assists for Kuta. Vandenberg is their main prospect. So Barrie leads 2-1. Ottawa needed to win that one. Kitchener over the Sioux. Kitchener's pretty strong. They beat the Sioux 4-3. Edwards with three goals. He's really rock and rolling. 3 points for Reed, Chase Reed. He's doing his part. I noticed that those top 10 prospects outside the NHL, it was interesting. Friggin' who was on that list that I saw the other day? Well, they had Jarosky and Hage 1-2. Hage is up there, but Jarosky, that's a little high for me. And they had the kid that won Plant, that won the Hobie in the top 10, and not Brady Martin. Ooh. I don't know. Brady Martin's a hell of a prospect. You got to take into consideration age, you know. It is a factor. And Martin was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I thought him and Hage were the best players at the World Junior. But I'd argue McKenna. I guess it was best drafted prospects outside. But Newfoundland came back, beat Blainville tonight 5-4. Carbonneau got a goal. A couple of assists for Villeneuve. So that series is tied 2-2. They're having a dandy series. Rouen beat Shawinigan 3-2. Moncton, who are going to be tough to beat, 7-4. Caleb Denye only had one goal. Four goals for Gabe Smith. He's skating a little better. He's a pretty good junior this year. All right. I hope the Habs will find a power play setup that works against Tampa. They were 2 for 21 this season. Yeah. Tampa's PK is quite well. One of the reasons why I was hoping Hage would join the club, but you know what? It just may be a year too early yet for the Habs. Well, I hope that's not the case. I hope I'm wrong, but might be a year away, you know. One more year. Yeah, Snuggie, I mentioned last night, Francois, he'd been hot, really hot down the stretch, and yeah, top 5 or 6, probably bumped ahead of Kapanen down the stretch. A month ago, I argued Kapanen ahead of him, but hard to make that argument now, even though Cappy plays center and it's, you know, more demanding, more valuable spot. Snuggerud definitely ended his season very strongly. PK is good against most teams. I don't know if much can be done about that. Well, you know what? I've seen stats regular season stats get thrown out sometimes at playoff time. You can have a team that's fantastic on the PK, and the team they play against, they get, like, you're talking about 7 games, right? Or 6 or 5. A lot can happen. And I've seen teams that don't give up goals give up a bunch at playoff time. I've seen teams that score, have great power plays, suck, can't score at playoff time, the reverse. So you just hopefully it's unpredictable in that regard, and Montreal can overcome this Eriksson still. I think he's got a year left on his contract. You might want to Google that, but I do believe that Eriksson might still have a year. He could come over, I suppose, but yeah, I would. No word today on Roar, eh? He didn't sign, or didn't. He's not on his way over. I was dealing with AI. Man, they inundate you with info. Eh? Gemini today, trying to get some proposals for looking for spots where I could potentially do a remote podcast, a bar in Montreal. By the way, anyone, if you know you got any leads on a bar that you think might want to host a podcast with me and Liam. Liam's willing to come down if we can arrange it and do try to stump Liam in trivia. That's always fun. He's done it for years, and he's the world's foremost hockey trivia expert. He's just a human encyclopedia, and it's always fun. But if we can arrange it, and we're still working on it, we're going to see if we can't get Liam down. Nate McKinnon, empty net McKinnon, scored another one. That shocks me. Kind of a fitting end to the season, right? Imagine if Cole had scored one. It would inflame you then, right? Okay, they're tied at 52. Oh, McKinnon wins it with one more empty netter. I'm almost glad that Cole didn't score, with that being the case. Logan Mailloux scored the goal. I'm pulling for Logan. I hope both him and Bolduc have long, prosperous careers. I don't know, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, just the way he got everyone just, he's terrible. You can't play defense. Look at this, the way he started, not given any consideration of the fact that he's raw, he's green. It was going to take time. It was going to take development. It was going to take NHL reps, adjust all of that. He's got all the tools. The kid can skate. He can defend. He's good one-on-one. He's physical. He's got a great shot. He can pass the puck. He's going to be a top 4 defenseman all day. And it was never in doubt for me. It was just a matter of him gaining experience. So I'm not surprised that he has come on in the past while. He +5 in the last 2 games. Good. That -25 or whatever he was is now at about -10. So in his last 20, 30 games, I think he's +10, +15. Good for him. Don't wish bad karma, bad vibes on anyone. So the Avalanchos frig, eh? They weren't. They were certainly weren't world beaters in the second half of the year, were they? So, wow, I've gone 2 hours here. I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever gone 2 hours with. So I'm making $1 an hour here so far. Good thing I love my work, folks. So far, I got a $2 a toonie from Francois. Is geez, I hope this isn't a sign of things to come here. April started out great. Somebody even sent me $100, and now $1 an hour. YouTube not paying me for last night. Oh well, I better get those sponsors. Thanks to AI today to help me. I'm putting out. I even got a couple leads thanks to AI. Nobody on here gave me any leads, but plumbing stores in Montreal that, you know, they might be hockey fans or supported hockey. Thanks to AI, I got some names, so I'm going to. I want to get plumber of the game, the hardest worker, the blank plumber of the game. I think that would be fun because I put a lot of. One of the things as a scout that I do truly appreciate is hardworking. You know, like today, Gally would have got the blank plumber of the game if, you know, if I had a sponsor for it and that if I was doing it. I hope I get it for the playoffs. I'm going to do a big push tomorrow. I'm also going to see if I can't get a bar that will host let Liam and I host a podcast and go down to one of these playoff games because I've been invited down very generously from Paul Antoniadis, who has several season tickets, and he says that he wants to, for all my hard work this year and stuff, he wants me to go down for a playoff game. So I don't know how many of you, like, even if I can arrange a podcast, maybe even if, you know, a meet and greet. I don't know how many of you, surprising a number of the regulars here aren't in Montreal, but almost 40% of my audience is in Quebec and close to Montreal, I think. So anyway, we've got a couple more days to, you know, the Tapa games. Hopefully we'll get bigger crowds. We'll get bigger turnouts for that. I don't think we hit more than 70 people viewing tonight, which seems odd, but a little discouraging. Anyway, there's going to be ups and downs here. You got another empty netter? 2? Erickson is under contract. Yeah, I thought so. Thank you. The tobacco, gas, and casinos in Kanawaki will sponsor you. Yeah. Hadn't thought of that. That's I suppose that's a possibility. Casino, eh? That's that might be worth pursuing. Thanks for the lead, Laurentians, because I do need to, you know, for these little lulls here when not many people are watching or contributing. I need it doesn't matter if I've got sponsors, right? So I do need to get some. I mean, I'm well over 100,000 viewers a month now, which is fantastic, and not asking a lot. Not asking a lot as far as compensation goes for sponsors. So it's just a matter of me finding the time here to pound the pavement, get the emails out, make some phone calls, and get at her. Get some sponsors. Hook up Grant. Yeah. Well, I don't think he was being specific there, Ken. Just in general, the tobacco, gas, and casinos. Yeah. And I go right through there on my way to the Bell Center because I take the I think I do anyway. I go past a reserve and some tobacco places there before I cross the bridge. When I take the toll road there, is that where Kanawaki is? The 430 by the 430. Oh, we're climbing back up 61. I'll stay on for a little bit longer here. Grant, how do you feel this year's version of Tampa compares to the two versions that won the Cups? I don't think. Well, Hedman's not. They don't have prime Hedman. McDonough's longer in the tooth, but Chernak's a better. Obviously, he's in his prime now. Radish is turned into a hell of a defenseman. Who else here? I think their bottom. I don't think their middle six is quite as good. Like Yanni Gord's not as good as he was those days either. They don't have Stamkos, but they've got Gensel, so there's not much difference there. I just think maybe, the Colemans, the guys like that, they don't quite have as much depth in the bottom nine as they did then, but they're a hell of a team. And Radish has turned into a great defenseman. Chernak's really solid. Littleberg's hits everything. Vasilevsky's still in his goalie prime. Kucherov hasn't slowed down. If anything, he's just as good. So, Braden Point, and Hagel has only gotten better. So they're not far off of the team that won those cups. But what I think has changed maybe is there's some other teams that are better too, right? Including Montreal. Maybe Montreal's defense isn't as good as far as being at a playoff, effective playoff defense. Those big trees that they had in 2021, but night and day difference up front, right? Caulfield isn't 20 years old. Rookie Suzuki isn't 21. Slav, Demidov, all these pieces that either weren't there or weren't in their prime. in 21. And then Lane Hudson, of course, on defense, and Dobson. And anyway, it's a different group, but huge difference in the quality of forwards up front for the Habs. They don't have Carey Price and nets, but here's hoping Dobie can do the job. I know Jiggy was saying something about his Dovish always like this. Oh, come on. The guy's got like won 75% of his games this year. So obviously you didn't see Dovish at his best tonight, but the inconsistent, the up and down, the inconsistencies are a lot less inconsistency with him in the second half of the year. We didn't see many games like he had tonight, so I'm not going to, I'm not going to be too worried about Dobie. Tonight's game wasn't really that. Canadians, when there's something to play for, different team. Tonight, really, they probably weren't getting home ice advantage. I mean, even if they win, Tampa likely beats the Rangers. So we all eat on the reservation and play golf there. Yeah. All right. I will. I'll put that on my list. I appreciate those as leads. I know I won't be doing a remote there probably because, I'm not going to come down and then do a post game because it would take me, quite a while to leave the game and then go. Ideally, it would be a place that's close to the Bell Center. Radish has a bomb. Oh, frig, yeah. Does he ever? Great shot, eh? Yeah, he has a terrific shot. There's no doubt about that. I did have the stats. Maybe we can have a look. Sort of kind of been avoiding this because it's a bit depressing tonight, but why don't we have a quick look here? Bit curious to see how much Reinbacher played. 15 minutes. Not bad. He had a shot. One giveaway. Don't have him down for a hit, but he certainly whopped the guy in the head. Porter Martone. Galley. Good for him. 20 more minutes for Demidov again. He keeps getting good ice time. Evans only played 11-15 tonight. 3 shots, scored a goal. Cappy actually good in the face-off circle. Did you see him reverse a couple of times? The guy is ambidextrous. He can shoot and take face-offs either hand. I saw there one tonight. He reversed and then won the damn thing. It was kind of cool. So good to see Cappy bounce back with a good night in the face-off circle. Had another good scoring chance, but couldn't end her. Nice to see Susie win 15 draws too, 65% tonight. New Hook, 31%. All right, so much for that theory that he's getting a lot better. But he had been. He had been winning a lot more face-offs. So, and Evans only took 4 draws. That's kind of funny, eh? New Hook, 13, Cappy 9, Evans 4. Just goes to show you that Marty wasn't, winning this game was not the be-all to end-all for Marty tonight. The big guy, as far as hits go, here's a shock. Veleno and Jackeye. This is a recording. Block shots. Laner with 3. Geez, he better not break a hand now blocking a shot, eh? That wouldn't be too good. But the one stat that jumps out here, if you look at the shot column, 10 shots for Cole. The next closest on the team, 3, Ghouls and Evans. So safe to say that the boys were trying to get goals for Cole tonight, and it didn't quite work out. But the thought was there. Unselfish, close bunch that they are, right? All right, I'll go a little longer here, folks, but oh, I missed that. What did Arbor play? Top for the 1946 for Arbor. All right. Good to see, eh? Even got 20 seconds on the power play. I noticed him out on the PP. Good stuff. The Bacher, they didn't play him. They didn't play him on the PP. No complaints about the rest tonight, folks. Habs didn't take a penalty. Yeah. Only Hudson played more minutes. Yeah. Well, with Dobson and Matheson out, right? Not a huge. And then Dooley was playing with Reinbacher later, so they weren't going to play him to death. But yeah, I missed half the game. How was Reinbacher? Had some shifts with Hudson. Yes, he did. The Bacher played the first period with Lane, and they kind of they had a few hiccups, and Marty ended up breaking them up. But that one's going to be a work in progress. I do eventually think that they're going to be a pairing, but Dave's got to learn that when Lane's up ice, fall back a bit. Dave Reinbacher was trying to be aggressive offensively too, and you can't have the two of them thinking that way at the same time. So yeah, it was not a good first look for those two playing together. They have played in exhibition games together, I think, back in the they have played exhibition games together, but it was not they didn't look great together. Gooley and Reinbacher didn't mind that pairing. Somebody had mentioned the other day that like to see those two together as a shutdown pairing. Well, certainly from first at this point, at least, that duo looked better as a pairing than Hudson and Reinbacher did. But that's period. That's with one period. That's a pretty small sample size of Reinbacher and Hudson playing together. But I think based on what we saw and what Marty did by breaking them up, don't be expecting the Habs to start the postseason with Hudson and Rhino as a pairing. Any word on Carrier? Is he practicing? Is he expected to play the first game of the playoffs? Is any updates on that? I hadn't heard. But, going to be tough to start the playoffs with either no right defenseman or a right defenseman with 2 games under his belt. So either way, it's either no right defenseman in the lineup or one who has played 2 NHL games. not an ideal scenario by any means. I don't know, and can you game plan to exploit that? Maybe. You might see some stuff that Tampa's doing where they try to take advantage of the fact that, two or maybe all three defensemen on one side, their sticks aren't necessarily going to be in the right position at times, and you could see some kind of set plays that are drawn up where you try to exploit that anomaly. So much for resting Lane. I think they'd actually have to change someone. You don't have to rest Lane Hudson. I mean, if they if they played him 10 minutes, he'd go do laps after the game, right? He'd go do stops and starts for an hour, bag skate. I think Harpin mentioned Carrier near the end of the first round. Okay. Still not practicing with the team though, Francois. Thank you for the update. I'm gonna start keeping a little closer eye on that stuff. Apologies for not always having the Habs news. I realize that that's not my forte. I like to analyze, I like to scout. I like to offer opinions. As far as inside info and stuff, I realize that's not my main strength here, but I will try to, especially for the playoffs here, maybe have a little more of that type of info, especially at the start of podcasts, so people are a little more informed. It's a tragedy that Demidov something for the next 2 or 3 years is going to be Texier. Waste of talent. H needs to be traded for a center. Thanks, Bryce. Fairly new. You haven't posted too often on here. I don't think it has to be H that's traded. I wouldn't trade H. I'd be more inclined to trade Zurofsky if you were going to make, trade a prospect to get a center. I think I'd be more inclined to explore that. I do concede right now the Cappy, I still think he can be a number 2 center, but there's work to be done there. I certainly don't feel as strongly about it as I did a couple months ago. We've seen some concerns in his offensive game over the past few weeks. It's nice that we will get 5-6 days rest. That's a huge bonus for the Habs. I agree, Bryce. I think so. Yeah. Again, that's not, my podcast. I don't want to be that guy necessarily, but yeah, I guess, sure, I'd appreciate maybe that a little more. But what I'm going to do is, I spend a lot of time scouting, it just, and I'd rather provide that stuff because everyone, there's other podcasts that give that kind of stuff, and I'm a little unique in that regard. But yeah, I'm going to try to start getting a little more, having a few more of those news and notes here. I'm also going to utilize, as I've discovered here, AI a little more when it comes to that stuff too. Although I will verify stuff because it's not always correct info. Cappy's 22, he'll get better, but he ends up at 3C. The Habs are in good shape. I think so, Ken. I think they gave up a goal and a couple takeaways. Yeah. Well, they didn't play. They didn't play after that, Jonathan. But Reinbacher, as the game went on, solid, really solid in the third. I thought he just got better and better. But the pairing with Lane, it had its ups and downs. They weren't what I would describe as stellar. That's fine. So it is. All right, folks, 2.5 hours. I think I've done my so less than $1 an hour. All right. I'll there's going to be those nights, folks. I appreciate it. A lot of the regular contributors did not show up tonight. I hope Donnie's fighting a friggin' blizzard tonight, eh? I hope he's okay. Like I said, I got an update from Liam on his that apparently it's huge blizzard up there in the North Country of Canada. Glad I'm down here in Eastern Ontario. It was actually pretty warm the last couple days. I worry that if Carrier come back, they would play him too much. But yeah, he might help. I don't know. I would prefer to see Reinbacher playing than Carrier. Yeah, I know. In the playoff time, if Reinbacher keeps playing even at this level, he's up for good. I hope so. Love your maritime accent, man. I used to fly for Lab Air in Goose Bay. Brings back memories. Not a mean bone in their bodies, those newfies. Well, I've got an accent that is often compared to the Maritimes, and that's the Ottawa Valley accent. I'm from the Valley, eh? Good day. It does get compared. There is some similarities there with the Ottawa Valley accent and the Maritime Newfie accent. You're close, so I'm not. And Ken says, I think Grant's from the Ottawa Valley. Well, yes, where you'll find Bonashare Caves. Hi to pay. There used to be a show, Delmer and Cecil. The Delmer and Cecil show, Delmer McGregor and Cecil Wiggins. And they had their thick Valley accents. It was pretty funny. Anyone from the Ottawa Valley, my age, would know what I'm talking about. Good times. Thanks, Grant. Playoff time, buddy. Absolutely. All right, folks. That's it. Thank you very much, as always. You know what? Yeah, we didn't have a big gang out here, but it was still a great day to talk hockey, a great season to talk hockey. Second season's coming up, and you know what we're going to do a lot of? Talking hockey, and I look forward to it. I will I'm going to do some I'll do a few podcasts up until then. You know, I'll be looking at prospects and put up some videos. I'm going to study Zurowski's playoff games here again, put something up on that. Seems like that got more views than anything, the last Zurowski one. So I'll do another kind of conclusion for his Johnny sent me a couple of dollars here at the end. Thank you, John. Better late than never. Up to $1.50 an hour here for my good. I like making more than $1 an hour. What do you think of Arber's play tonight? He was great. I thought I thought he was quite solid. Schmucked Michkov there one time. Loved it. Arber's playing solid hockey right now. He looks like he's ready to contribute at playoff time here and help the club. He'll be playing some, especially with the injuries, and as long as he's disciplined, he can be quite effective here at playoff time. So, yeah, good for him. Both him and Strub's been solid lately, and that's good. I think they need that size and grit in the lineup here just to keep things, police things a little bit. Along with Josh, Kirby, there's a few guys that can step up in that way, and even the Bacher, if he's got a little bit of grit there, as we saw tonight, and that's not a bad thing. Drum dude, thanks Grant. Playoff time, buddy. Oh, we're ready to rock and roll. Good night, Grant. Always good podcast. Thanks, Ken. Yeah, this was a good one, eh? May not have had a big group of people here, but I'm proud of this one. Another solid podcast. Thanks, man. Good night. Okay, same to you, Silvio. Always, always appreciate your support and folks, the kind words here. They're always, hey, it's not that difficult to be nice, really. I like, it's just, it's great. This is a great group. I'm at a loss for words, so I think I'll wrap it up here. Thank you so much. I'll do a podcast tomorrow at some point. I'll put up a bit of notice for people, and Francois, certainly, buddy. If you want to, I mean, you're great for stats and stuff, and you're on top of. So if you want to, let's see here. I'll just type my email here. You're certainly welcome to send me a couple of notes if you feel so inclined before podcast. I appreciate the offer, and that's pretty cool. All right, Bryce, keep at it, and your following will continue to grow. Oh yeah, frick. I've only been doing it since September, so yeah, we're up 110,000 views in the past month. That's my highest yet, and I think this next month, I'm hoping it'll be even higher. I'll keep working my ass off, and it'll pay off for sure down the road. You have amazing points on hockey. Very much appreciated. All right. Well, that's a good way to end it right there with kind words from Bryce. Thank you. And everybody, have a great rest of your evening. And maybe we'll see you at some point later today. Okay. Oh, I just subscribed last night. Good stuff. Thanks, Bryce. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.